There's some drama going on where a YouTuber, Vangelinaskov, is being accused for the plagiarism of Essence of Thought's video about Lily Orchard. I have come to the conclusion that Essence of Thought is another Illuminati, and I'm going to explain how so. A bit of disclaimer: this video may have been biased in favor of Vangelinaskov, and I haven't watched any of Essence of Thought's videos until the accusation video came in my newsfeed. It may be wise to take all I say and will say with a grain of salt. I will provide clips of videos to give context and proof. First off, Essence of Thought sent an email to Vangelinaskov outright accusing her for plagiarizing the video about Lily Orchard and demanding some money as compensation.
Quote, "Hi, I'm reaching out to you because I've learned that your channel has plagiarized several of my videos. Your channel's video, Lily Orchard, YouTube's biggest creep, Lily Pete, contains several screenshots which are identical to the ones from my videos, the presenter copies several of my phrases almost word for word, and the presenter references the source of our victim testimony, who has not shared their story anywhere else. Plagiarism is not only morally wrong, but also a violation of copyright law, so I expect this to be corrected. Essence of Thought has always intended for our resources to be freely used by others, so usually we would only require you to link our channel in the video description, credit us for the screenshots, and have the presenter cite us whenever one of our ideas or pieces of evidence is used in the video. Since you, your writers, or your researchers did not do so, we feel we are entitled to 30% of the video's monetary value as compensation, based on the fact that 30 minutes of a 38-minute video are clearly plagiarized. That includes AdSense, Patreon earnings for the month of February, and sponsorship earnings from HelloFresh. These actions are to be taken along with issuing a correction/apology to all social media, as well as including an explanation of the issue at the top of the video description, run by us first, explaining the error. Thank you for your time, Ethel Thurston, founder of Essence of Thought."
And I think you need to understand from my perspective that this is somebody emailing me, claiming that I've plagiarized them and demanding money so that they don't make a video about me. And this is me knowing that I haven't plagiarized anyone's video. So in my eyes, when I get this, it feels like somebody's trying to extort me for money. And that is a serious legal issue. That's not something I can just immediately respond to and be like, no, or here's some money. So I really did feel like this was somebody trying to extort me.
Receiving that email would make me think that Essence of Thought is trying to bully their way of getting money. The right thing for Essence of Thought to do is simply ask Vangelinaskov for an explanation on how the screenshots that Vangelinaskov used looks the same as Essence of Thought's screenshots and the phrases that sound similar. They do admit to some errors in their email, but not realizing how the email would make the person on the other side of the screen feel. That's one point against Essence of Thought. In the beginning of Essence of Thought's video, they input information that isn't relevant to the accusation they claimed happened.
To say, when I discovered I'd been plagiarized, it did impact me, causing me to spiral. I burnt myself out at the end of last year, covering my personal trauma, only to need emergency dental work as I began feeling better, only to then break my foot. I haven't been able to find a suitable time to record anything I've been writing. As a result, I've been mentally punishing myself for not getting anything out. So to have someone come along and rip myself and Levi off, it fucking bricked me. It really did.
An entire section, how this affected my health. It was that they had a tooth infection and a broken foot before I even published my video, before they reached out to me or anything. And for some reason, I made it harder. It just doesn't make any sense. It feels like, again, you're trying to associate me with things that have nothing to do with me. I mean, that's the equivalent of, like, you guys know, some of you will know anyway, that I had an MRI on my back recently, right? Because I have a really bad back. I have problem with leg pain. I have done for years at this point, over a decade. And my back was really fucked a while ago, like really bad. I couldn't sit, couldn't stand properly. It was awful. Not even a while ago, like recently. It's only just starting to get better now. So I had an MRI on my back. But this is the equivalent of me saying, here's how Essence of Thought's video affected me. Before she contacted me, before she made a video, I had an MRI on my back and my back hurts. And that's their fault? Like, do you understand what I'm trying to say? I really hope I'm not coming across terribly here. It just doesn't sit right. It doesn't feel right. I feel like I'm being, like, associated with things that I didn't, like, I have nothing to do with your broken foot. I didn't run over your foot. I'm sorry you're injured. It has absolutely nothing to do with me, and it just feels like it's just trying to add as much negativity onto my name as possible to try and make sure people's emotions are heightened so they hate me as much as they possibly can because they want to watch my reputation burn. Not even watch, they want to make sure it burns. So, what am I supposed to do here?
How is one's medical conditions even relevant to plagiarism? It sounds like Essence of Thought uses irrelevant information to have their audience be emotionally charged the same way Illuminati had done to manipulate her audience. That's the second point against Essence of Thought. Accusing Vangelinaskov for scamming patrons just because she allegedly plagiarized Essence of Thought's video and made a few mistakes is a quite serious accusation.
The other thing was that the thumbnail for the video was Vangelinaskov scammed her patrons, which I didn't do, and that's not something that came up in the video. It was just to add an extra accusation onto me, just to make me look worse and to have people go into the video already angry. And she said something, if you're a member of her Patreon, do you like being played for a sucker? Because that's what she's doing. Again, like, it's just trying to, what's the word? Trying to kind of suggest accusations that just aren't in any way true. And it's also, once again, just like with the contacting my sponsors, is trying to attack my income because you're trying to get people to leave my Patreon, which if they want to do that, they can do that, of course. Like, I'm not holding them there hostage. But it's another thing to try and incite people to leave the Patreon for no reason. Just because you're saying that I'm scamming them, but I'm not. And you didn't even, like, it's just not a thing. It's just another reason why I feel like this is bad faith. Another thing was that she said, I'm just another Illuminati. But Illuminati has been accused of abusing people, allegedly. It's just not the same thing. And that was just used because she could put it in the title, in the description, and the tags for good SEO. So if people search Illuminati, that video might come up. It's also, again, trying to suggest accusations that aren't there, to try and associate me. That's the word I'm looking for. To try and associate me with really terrible things. But I didn't do them.
It's like accusing someone of robbing a bank and using the background of the accused as evidence. Sounds to me as a malicious way of getting back at someone who may or may not have done what they were accused of. 3 points against essence of thought. Related to the previous point, accusing Vangelinaskov as, in my own words, aiding and abetting Lily Orchard because of mistakes that Vangelinaskov has made is quite over the top.
At one point in her video, Scow acknowledges that Lily Orchard lied about age verification on YouTube.
She also lied and said that YouTube requires somebody to submit their ID in order to watch 18 plus streams, which is not true. Like, that's just not true. And she would also know that that's not true. And anybody who's ever watched any kind of age restricted content on YouTube would also know that that's not true. So I don't know how you make such a blatant lie and just expect everybody to take that at face value, but this seems to be a thing that controversial creators do. I don't get it. I'm never going to get it. Doesn't make any sense.
Yet she fails to note the specifics of how Lily lied, leading Scow to present misinformation, giving Lily Orchard ammunition to discredit not just Scow, but all her critics. For an actual explanation of the lie, we can return to my original breakdown of Lily's claim. Only problem is, this is false, at least in the way it has been presented here. You see, whilst YouTube has introduced ID verification in certain territories, the key phrase here is certain territories, namely Australia, the European Union, the European Economic Area, Switzerland, and the United Kingdom. As you will notice, neither Canada, the place Lily is from, nor the US, the place where the majority of Lily's audience exists, are included on that list. So Lily is misinforming her audience, mine is included, as a means of hiding her predatory behaviour. But wait, didn't Scow imply that she was falling back on her own personal experience as someone within the EU? Yeah, she did. For a channel that was created in 2012, meaning it was old enough to grandfather into the 18 plus category when the laws were first introduced. I know because this channel, created in 2011, was the same. Yet the moment I set up my personal channel using a completely different email, selecting the UK as my country of origin, Google did require me to supply my ID. So, returning to the misinformation, Scow doesn't even do us the decency of going back to double check the specific context of her assertions. She just makes the most generic statement possible, and that's it. Which is not only dangerous in how it gives Lily Orchard ammunition, it's also fucking insulting. As with all plagiarism, it's insulting to me and Levi as artists. But more important than that, it's insulting to Levi specifically as someone whose experience as another victim of Lily Orchard was instrumental to many of the context-specific insights we had, with Levi having quite literally coined the phrase Lily Orchard's mind prison to describe the atmosphere of control and manipulation, like discussed regarding the whole anonymous question thing. Insight, I must add, that was also based on over 24 years of personal suffering at the hands of other abusers. All of that was just stripped away for a cheap cash grab. It's also insulting to the topic in general, along with all of us who have ever been made to suffer through similar violence. As someone who was raped as a child and later groomed online, I am personally disgusted by just how half-assed Scow's coverage of the topic is. Her commentary on the issue is worse than worthless. It is actively harmful. The reason Lily Orchard gets away with so much shit is because hacks like Scow present misinformation as fact, making more work for people like me by kicking up dust, making a mess of things, allowing Lily Orchard to slip away amongst the chaos. This is why it took us years to compile everything, to avoid the very thing that Scow, in her unending laziness, has gone on to do. Well, Scow, you've muddied the field and made it easier for a sexual predator to handwave her critics. I hope you're fucking proud of yourself. Speaking of...
Just because Vangelinaskov had assumed that everyone on YouTube doesn't have to show ID to prove being 18 plus doesn't mean that it gives Lily Lily Orchard an advantage to disprove the accusations that had been said about the transphobic comments in Vangelinaskov video. She hasn't thought to moderate her comment section, apologizing for it, and promised to do better.
Next thing that I want to address, because this was brought up towards the end of the video, was that there was, in that video, so if you don't know, Lily Orchard is trans. I didn't reference it in the video, it wasn't relevant. But in the comments of that video, there were some transphobic comments. And I am genuinely glad that this was brought up because, well, firstly, I didn't see them, and I should have seen them. I should have garnered and assumed this is a controversial person who is trans. I should have assumed there will be transphobia in the comments, and I didn't, and that is a failing on my part. I should have done a better job of monitoring the comments on that video, but I didn't, and I am genuinely sorry for that, and I am glad it was brought up because this is something that I needed to address. So I am very sorry that I did not monitor those comments properly. I'm very sorry that I didn't think about that. I should have thought about that. I should have done better. And in the future, I will try my hardest to do much, much better than that. I will try and monitor my comments properly, especially on videos where there's a chance that people could be not just transphobic, but anything. You know, anything ableist or homophobic or racist or anything like that. I will do much better, and I'm very sorry for that. And I am glad that this was brought to my attention. So thank you for that one.
The mistakes we have made don't define who we are. The mistakes are an opportunity to learn and do better. Fourth point against Essence of Thought. Unfortunately, Vangelinaskov didn't show any evidence that she received information from her audience. It doesn't have to show any identifiers of the audience, but at least some kind of proof that the screenshots that seem similar to Essence of Thought's screenshots is from the audience. That's the only point against Vangelinaskov.
I believe. A couple of people messaged me in DMs to ask me would I consider covering the Lily Orchard stuff. I do get DMs from time to time from people, actually quite frequently, from people asking me to cover certain situations. And it tends to happen that I guess one topic will have kind of picked up and a couple of people will message me at the same time. So I had a couple of messages. One of them I remember was like offering to put me in contact with somebody who was involved. And then there was people offering information or people who just like typed out like a brief history of. I didn't initially respond to stuff. I don't know why. I really don't remember. I might have just been busy. So I didn't initially respond to any of the things, not for any reason other than I guess I just forgot or I didn't think to do it at the time or I thought I'd come back to it or I was busy, whatever it was. But then a couple months later, a video from Definitely Bored Oranges came up in my homepage and I saw the name Lily Orchard and I thought, oh yeah, I've heard that name before. Couldn't remember where I'd heard it. Couldn't remember that people had DM'd me. And I said, okay, I'll watch that, see what this is about. It gave me kind of a brief overview of some of the stuff. To be honest, I found it a little bit hard to follow that video, not because of the video. The video was fine. It was just because I didn't know Lily Orchard and I didn't know what was actually going on besides some of the stuff that people had DM'd me, but I hadn't fully read through everything at this point. Weirdly, after I got recommended that video, another person reached out to me about Lily Orchard, and I don't know if it was just because stuff was picking up again at the time. Like I said, things just seemed to happen all around the same time. So I did respond to that person and I talked to them. They gave me information, they gave me some screenshots, they pointed me in the direction of stuff. And then I also obviously did quite a lot of my own research. I went and looked online, I looked at, well, Encyclopedia Dramatica was one of them, random Reddit posts, random Tumblr posts, and quite a lot of the stuff actually came from a Tumblr blog, which I originally linked in the description of my Lily Orchard video. I think it was called Lily Orchard Gossip Blog. My aim with that video was to give like a concise overview of stuff, like of some of the main points, and I even said that in the video, like there's a lot more. If people want, I'll make a second video, but generally I like to keep videos kind of short and digestible, like around the 30-minute mark. The thing that I did wrong in this situation was that I didn't check the source of all of the screenshots I used, because like I said, some of them came from random Reddit posts, random Tumblr posts, and from the DMs as well. And I didn't check where those originated from, which was stupid. I probably should have checked that. I definitely should have checked that. I have no excuse for why I didn't check that beyond I just didn't think of it, but I just didn't think of it as not actually a valid excuse. So I should have done that. And in the future, I will make sure that I do that. So what I will say is that I cannot guarantee that none of the screenshots that I received or that I found online in random places did not originate from Essence of Thought. But what I can guarantee is that I did not go to Essence of Thought's video to screenshot things and take that as my own. And this is the misunderstanding that I'm talking about, because yeah, I messed up in the fact that I absolutely should have checked where those came from, but I did not go and steal those screenshots and then not credit Essence of Thought. So what I will do, because it is fair if those did originate from Essence of Thought, I will put Essence of Thought as a source in that video description. And I'm not doing that because I think it's going to make them go away. I know that they won't. I'm doing it because it's the fair thing to do. And
my name is Andrew Borland, and I use they, them, theirs pronoun. Thank you for watching my video.